It's another Pokemon video. Oh my god, my hair is a mess. Great. Well, guess I'm just gonna have to roll with that. But we already did grass type starters. Now we're doing grass types, which means we're doing the regular types now, which is awesome. So there's my hair's gonna bother me during this whole thing. There's 17? I think there's 17 types. So I'm going to go through every single one of them. I was originally planning on, at the end of each of these, to have you guys comment down what you want the next typing to be. But then I realized that might backfire on me because I might have, like, let's say for this one, like if I say, oh, you guys want grass or fire, and then I record grass, and then right when I do the recording, I get someone comment, hey, I want you to do fire types next. And I'm like, yeah, about that. So I kind of just don't want to have to record last minute as soon as I get a comment. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna decide for myself. I mean, if you guys do it like before a week is done, like before the video reaches a week, then maybe I'll take it into consideration. But yeah, I think I'm gonna scrap that idea. But yeah, I'm just gonna go in my own order. And we're gonna start with grass, like we did with grass starters. Mostly because I want to just get it done. I want to get grass, fire, water done, and then we'll move on to electric, normal, all the other stuff until we get to the more complex ones with like fairy and dragon. Save the best for last. And we're gonna touch on some of the rules. I know I said this before with the starter video and the grass starter one, but there is some rules I want to make clear on this one that I didn't explain in the grass starter one because it wouldn't make sense to explain it there. So I'm going to explain it here, and I'll probably do it in the beginning of every video, but I won't make it this long. This is just me explaining it to the max, and then I'll shorten in every other one that we have come out after this. So the first rule is every Pokemon on this list, their first typing. So if they have two typings, their first typing, so their primary typing, needs to be the type that we're talking about. So in the case of grass, I can't have a Pokemon that is ground grass. I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe rock grass, like Cradilly, I think is rock grass. It wouldn't be able to be counted. So before you guys, I don't know with this one, but in the next few lists, that's why I'm just gonna preface that. So if you guys go like, "What about this Pokemon?" And I'll be like, "Well, that's because that one's not primary fire. That's why it's not on the list. It's primary dark." So be wary of that. That's just a really, really important rule. The second one is no mythological, legendary, ultra beast, any of that. Also, no evolutions because the evolutions are going to have their own list after I finish all the typings. So, same thing with the mythological and legendaries and all that stuff. That goes for any of those. So, this is just regular Pokemon, like regular Pokemon that are grass starters first before, not sorry, starters. That's by habit. Grass typing first before they are any other typing. Okay, so I'm going to try and abbreviate that every single time I can do one of these videos, but I think, with that being said, we should be all good. Okay, so I just had to cut real quick because I had to edit something. But let's start with number 5, which is Roserade. Roserade is number 5. I feel like this one isn't too big of a deal. I don't know how many fans are like huge fans of Roserade. I like it. I would have put it higher up the list, but fun fact, it's actually really tiny. Like really tiny, like this small. So for me, I was just like the design looks cool. And its stats are great, and it's actually a really good Pokemon to use, really useful in terms of grass type Pokemon. But that height really threw me off. I'm not gonna lie, and I was like, I don't know, something about it just seemed off from it. And design wise, it's not like one of my favorites. It's cool. It's cool. There's really not much else. There's a lot of grass poison types. It has natural cure and poison point and technician. Technician's pretty cool. In terms of the generation it came out of. I have a lot of nostalgia with that generation, but still, I was never a guy that used Rose Raid. I think its shiny looks sick with the black and purple in the roses. So, I mean, there's a lot of good things going for it, which is why it's in the top five. But I just don't have it above the other ones because I don't know, it just doesn't hit me. And yeah, that size thing. I mean, size doesn't matter, but to me, it was just weird. It was just weird. But yeah, number four, I'm gonna give it to Whimsicott. Now, the reason this kind of seems random, Whimsicott in Gen 5, no, but Whimsicott in Gen 6 and after, yes, because now it's a fairy type. It's been a fairy type for days, but now it's a fairy type. So it gets, Dazzling Gleam, it gets Moonblast. It has a lot of things that, like, for its speed, because it's kind of fast, it's pretty useful. You can set up things, you can do some stuff with it. I like its shiny. It's different. It's different. You don't usually see a grass type with a shiny like that, like the blue and the black. I think it's black or brown, but yeah, the yellow eyes. It accentuates it. Like it makes it feel kind of fairy esque, which makes sense to me. But yeah, I don't know. I like it. I like that grass fairy typing. I just feel like it's more different still, and I just find it crazy to think that this thing, if you got lucky and you invested a lot of special attack into it, you could probably one shot a dragon type, which is just funny because this thing, again, it's small, but it works for its design. Like this one, I think makes more sense that it's small and everything. So, but aside from that, I don't really have much of an attachment with it. I just think it's cool all around. So yeah, that's why I put it over Rose Raid, just because I think it fits it better and the typing's more interesting and has more. All of its themes kind of connect a little more to me. Like I can kind of like give this thing more of an image than Rose Raid for me. Number three, on the other hand, is Semi-Sage. Now, this is a Pokemon that I feel like the whole Semi line doesn't get talked enough, like about enough. But for me, I don't really care about Semi-Seer or Semi-Poor or any of that. Semi-Sage to me, I liked Pansage, like it was my favorite of the three. And when I saw its evolution, for some reason, I just like its design. I like it a lot. Like for me, it's not a better Pokemon than the other two in terms of what it does competitively, and maybe its themes aren't as deep, but I just really liked the design. I thought it was cool. I was like, I don't see a grass type with that much like flair, if that makes sense. I think that's why for a grass type, it just had a lot of flair to it. I was like, you got like a fire type energy, but you're a grass type, and I really like that. I was like, you know what? I rock with this. I rock with this guy. So yeah, I put him at number three. In terms of abilities, he doesn't really get anything. Like Gluttony is, yeah. Overgrow is Overgrow, and then his moves are okay. His stats again, they're okay. Like they're very, very baseline. I just really like his design. I think it's something that I don't see for other grass types, and that's the thing. Like when I see something different, I get really attracted to it. So for me, this guy, in terms of I looked at all of the grass types on the list, he caught my eye, and I was like, you know what, Whimsicott and Rose Raid, they kind of get blurred, but like Semi-Sage, I could point him out, and I feel like that he needs to be top three for. But yeah, so I put him above Whimsicott, even though I think I'd have more fun playing with Whimsicott in the game. I think overall, if I was like in the Pokemon world, I would enjoy having Semi-Sage more for me, anyways. But yeah, number two, this is where it gets interesting. Number two and number one are like they have the design, they have a theme kind of going on, and they're unique in terms of what you get for grass types. And then I don't know, I like them personally a lot. But number two is another one that usually isn't mentioned a lot, and that's kind of for good reason because he's not great. Is Tropius. Yeah. One of the only final evolution, well, he doesn't have an evolution or anything, but grass flying types. Now, stat wise, he's terrible. Stat wise, he's terrible. Um, Ability, I mean, he gets solar power and chlorophyll. Like everything is based within Sunny Day, which isn't great. That's another thing grass types have a little bit of a weakness to, is that a lot of their things are attached to Sunny Day, which gives a benefit to its weakness, which is fire. That's one issue I have with grass types. But the thing that really carries this guy is its design. Like its design is just really good to me. I like it. It's it's what it feels like Emma's like exotic. Like it feels exotic. Like it feels like so much different than like the other like, oh, this is a garden grass type, and this is like, it just fits one thing, while this one feels like it's a dinosaur crossed with, a banana tree crossed with like palm leaves and stuff. Like it feels like this design was wasted, if I'm being honest, because if you had made this Pokemon at least semi decent on its stats, you could have something really nice here. I know its typing is the biggest thing that holds it back, because even though its stats are not great, its typing is atrocious. Like it's terrible. Ice is one of the most common like offensive moves, like offensive typing moves that you can have on Pokemon, just because all water types will be able to have like an ice type move on them, especially if you're playing competitively. It's impossible to get past this because he's so weak. But I still appreciate the design. I appreciate the design, and I appreciate just, to me, this is what a grass flying type's supposed to look like. I'll be honest, I'm kind of pissed. I'm pissed that this thing doesn't do as well as I wanted it to, but I still have to give its credit because it is my second favorite, possibly even my favorite. I feel like number one and number two can go interchangeable, but it's one of my favorite grass types because when I look at it, I'm like, this is what I want grass types to be. I feel like a lot of them, the grass typing is one of those typings that just feel like a bunch of the same kind of thing. Another one of those is like dragon to me. Like dragon feels like a lot of them are kind of the same idea. Like to me, Garchomp and Dragonite, like I'm like, okay, yeah, they look different, but they still kind of, you know, they're beastly bipedal kind of thing. I don't know. It's just like I feel like I see a lot of the same kind of stuff with some types. So when I see something that stands out and it feels like it took imagination to create this, that's why I get really attached to them. So Tropius for me, aside from everything else, it's shiny even is like, meh, it's not bad, but it's eh. Aside from everything else, Tropius to me is my second favorite grass type starter. So it's not starter, sorry. I gotta get out of that habit. But grass type Pokemon. Number one, now this thing actually has well, actually only, it doesn't have another form, but it has another evolution. But I chose this evolution. The other evolution is actually more popular, and that's Appleton. Now, Flapple is the version for Sword, and that's the one that's usually more popular because it just looks more like a dragon. Appleton, from what I understand, is like meh for a lot of people. I love this thing. I love this thing. From its design standpoint, it's just so fun. Like it's so fun. Its shiny is a little I see what they did with it. They made it from a red apple to a green apple, and I'm kind of pissed because Nintendo was smart and they were like, "Yeah, let's just." It's thematically it makes sense. I'm like, okay, 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 buddy. But Grass Dragon. Now I know there's another Grass Dragon. I am counting Alolan forms and like other like regional forms. I'm counting those. So that's actually something to keep in mind. I am counting those. So I know some people are going to be like, wait a second. Wait. So you think Alolan Executor is worse than all of these? Not worse. Obviously, subjectively, I just don't like him as much. And that's just because, I don't know, for me, I shouldn't talk about a Pokemon that's not on the list that much, but for me, I don't know. The long neck was cool. I just feel like it also, after a while, I realized like maybe it's a little lazy. Maybe. I don't know. It just didn't hit me. So if you guys comment down like where is that, for me, I was like, to go from Executor to Lone Executor seemed like it made sense. But then I was still like, yeah. But I don't know. With forms, for me, I feel like if they had taken even more of a drastic turn, which you'll see with some other of the forms down the road with other lists, you'll get what I mean when I'm saying like I feel like they could have gone even more drastic with it. But yeah, I think my favorite Grass Dragon obviously is Appleton, and I just like its stats are good too, bro. This guy has tons of HP. His special attack is decent. He's slow and it makes sense. I like the apple pie look. He makes me hungry. I know it's a Pokemon. I shouldn't eat it, but I'm just it makes me hungry. And he gets Draco Meteor. Like, he has good special attack, 100 base. Like, he gets Draco Meteor, Dragon Pulse, you know, he gets Earthquake, Energy Ball. Like, I mean, Giga Drain. Like, he's actually a really good Pokemon. So, typing wise, its stats and its moves and the design, I was like, you know what? You and Tropius, I'm probably put him above Tropius because he is a better Pokemon to use. But I think design wise, they both get me. They both get me a little bit. Like I'm like, oh, okay, based on your typing, I'm like, this is an interesting perspective to take. So, what do pies have to do with dragons? I have no idea. But for me, I like the attempt they did here. So that's my list. I mean, you guys can comment down below what you think, what your favorite grass type Pokemon is. I know sometimes I say put down what your list is, but some of y'all I think are lazy. So I'm just gonna ask what your favorite grass type is, and then we'll go from there. But oh, I also think I forgot to mention Ripen. So it's a bit, yeah, I mean, Ripen's okay. It just doubles the effect a berry has. So if you have like citrus, which gives you HP, it'll double the amount of HP, which is pretty useful. Oh, it has thick fat. That's why, yeah, it gets thick fat as a hidden ability, which is amazing because then its weaknesses, which are ice and fire, they're just cut in half, like they're reduced. So amazing ability. I knew there was something else I was missing. Yeah, so overall, Appleton is just, it's a perfect package. So I was like, I have to put him number one. But yeah, so I think that's everything I wanted to say about the list. I mentioned Alolan Exeggutor and why he's not here. If there's anyone that you feel like should have been on the list, please comment down below, along with what your favorite is, or if whatever list you want to make and put down. I'm down to respond. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to light up that like button, smash up the sub button, give that bell your best. You know how that goes. Next time's next vid. You guys have a wonderful day. I'll catch you guys in the next Pokemon list or the next video you choose to watch. Take care, peace, and goodbye.